going to provide nice cushioning and nice insulation. So the two best things are either a foam pad or a thermarest, which has air inside of it. Either of those are what we would recommend. And again, if you have trouble getting one, we do have some at camp that we can loan you. We recommend you bring your own. That's our preference. Good question. Other questions? Yeah.
On the Magical Mystery Tour, there's some backpacking, some car camping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Some car camping, some backpacking, some water sports, Jewish experiences, nature experiences, and you'll be in California.
Provisions for emergencies? Have you?
What we do is before the trip, we identify what the nearest hospital is for every location we're going to be on every day, and we give that information to the leaders. Our leaders have ways of reaching Camp Tawonga in an emergency, so we can provide backup support and assist. And our leaders get a ton of training in how to handle emergencies. They all have wilderness first responder, wilderness EMT, or wilderness first aid training, as well as they're all lifeguards. So they have like a lot of emergency preparedness training under their belt. And Tawonga in general has is actually like nationally known throughout the camping industry for being leaders in emergency preparedness and how we deal with emergencies when they do arise. So you're in very good hands in that regard.
So if a child has a medication like allergy relief or anything, so kids should take it and give it all the time, or we need to give it to a counselor?
The counselors will hold all the medications. When you bring your child at the beginning of the trip to drop them off, you're going to hand the counselor any medications that you brought for your child with clear instructions about when to administer them, any side effects, things like that. For basic over-the-counter stuff, we stock it. Our first aid kit has Tylenol. You don't need to send Tylenol if you think, oh, my daughter might need Tylenol once in a while. Don't worry, we've got that kind of thing. We've got Benadryl and Tylenol and all kinds of stuff. But if you have a medication that you take every day, like let's say it's an over-the-counter, like Claritin or something, but you take it every day, you should probably send it, just so we know, okay, this is Alina's Claritin, she's going to take it every day. And the leaders will make sure the medication's being administered in the proper way, the proper time, and they'll keep written records of all of that, so that we have a good record of how that stuff's being administered. Yeah. Yeah.
How many people are on the Magical Mystery Tour?
12.
So
Two vehicles on each trip. Yep. Yeah.
Who's the leader for Magical Mystery Tour?
Oh, we don't know yet. We basically what we do is we've hired 13 phenomenal wilderness leaders. We're gonna train them. We're gonna see who has good chemistry with whom, and we're gonna make our pairings for what we think will be the best leaders for each trip, based on what kids we know are going on the trip, based on the leader's strengths, finding a team that's gonna complement each other with their different skill sets. So we don't decide that until mid-June.
Dan and I are great evidence of really good pairing.
Yes.
Because we led a trip together.
And we could not be more compatible in terms of leadership styles. It's pretty remarkable.
Other questions? Dan or Kate, do you guys want to share anything else from like your experiences on Quest?
Sure.
Kate, maybe you stand up.
Yeah. I'll go over here so I can be filmed. So, I definitely would say, if you guys weren't here beforehand, my name is Kate. Am I in it? Oh, I'm not in it? I really want to be on YouTube.
You are. Very good. Very good. You are.
Okay, cool.
This whole moment is going to be on YouTube.
Okay, this is huge. So if you guys weren't here before, I'm Kate, and I was a camper, and I also went on a quest myself, and I've also led a couple quests. And I would say the first time I went on a quest, it was like a huge turning point for me in seen what it meant to be outside and go on a like great backpacking trip. I was always that kid that was like super gung ho about backpacking trips, and I like can pretty much remember everything that happened on my quest. I loved it, and that's why I came back to lead quests and bring that experience to other people. I think it's a huge growing experience. And then as a leader, I was trying to think of a memory from the Sierra Slam that I led, and when Becca was talking about Shabbat, I remember I have this like giant box of costumes that I like obsessively take with me wherever I go. It's about like this big, and I brought it, and we basically just went crazy silly and on Shabbat and dressed up in the most ridiculous costumes. We had like guys in really beautiful pink prom dresses and people in clown costumes, and anyways, it was like tons of fun, and everyone got super into it. And my co-leader and myself did this like ridiculous performance about with like a crazy Yiddish Jewish accent, and led the whole service with everyone's participation and all the campers' participations in their ridiculous costumes, and it was probably one of the best nights we had, and we had a great meal. Shabbat is always the best meal. You always go like far and above in the supermarket and get the most amazing things. I mean, there's no like filet mignon, but it's pretty amazing. And so that was a huge highlight of one of my trips. I could go on and on about how amazing Quest is, but I'll let Dan talk.
Yeah,
So.
I think I could probably do the same thing. There's so many highlights from all the Quest experiences I've had, but I have some more like practical thoughts that came to mind, which is the quest that I went on when I was 14. I went to REI and bought all sorts of brand new stuff, some of which I still wear today, on backpacking trips. And I think it's not super necessary to go all out and go crazy and buy all sorts of fancy new stuff, although it can be fun if it's something that you want to use long term. Like I said, I've been using the same hiking boots for the last 10 years, and they still fit, and they're super sturdy. So there's that. And then the other thing I have to say about my own experience on Quest is that I came into my quest really closed-minded, and this is when I was 14, when I went on Northwest Canada, and it took me a little while to like sort of break out and decide that I was going to have a good time, and once I did, it was amazing. And that's sort of my advice to all of you: is the sooner you can open your mind and decide that you're going to have a great time for any experience like this, that's when it's really going to happen.